Oh my god.
I've always told myself I'm a lesbian, but I think being here, I've realized, oh no, I'm not lesbian.
You ever been in a relationship where you're doing everything right, but still end up feeling like the bad guy? Well, buckle up, because JoJo Siwa's messy breakup with her ex, Kath, is giving us a masterclass in emotional gaslighting, glitter-glued manipulation, and one-sided loyalty. From emotional cheating to economy seat shade, this isn't just drama, it's a pattern. And once you see it, you can't unsee it. Let's get into the truth JoJo doesn't want you to know. Today, we're breaking down JoJo Siwa's disturbing dating pattern, starting with her relationship with Kath and working backwards to expose the red flags. By the end of this video, you'll understand why so many people are saying JoJo never really loved Kath, and why this breakup wasn't a one-off. It was just another stop in JoJo's toxic relationship tour. And trust me, the economy seat is just the beginning. So let's rewind to where it all began, JoJo and Kath. JoJo called it a tight bond, a friendship so deep it couldn't be explained. But here's the thing, you don't need to explain real love, you show it. What JoJo showed? Cuddles with a male housemate on national TV, questioning her identity mid-relationship, and gaslighting her partner while doing it. And when Kath tried to express hurt feelings, JoJo shut it down, claiming she was the one being misunderstood. JoJo swears she didn't cheat. But let's be honest, back scratches, deep convos, and emotional intimacy with your big brother roommate while your girlfriend watches from home? That's not friendship, babe. That's emotional cheating, gift-wrapped in rainbow tape. And when Kath brought it up, JoJo blamed her team for not helping with the flight upgrade. Like, what? You can tour the world, book 5 interviews, and spend $60K on a single date, but you can't ask your assistant to click upgrade to business class? Make it make sense.
What's up?
Nothing.
Tell me.
No, nothing. Just
What?
talking in there.
Yeah.
It just made me really emotional.
Yeah, good. It's
And
good
I
to
feel
cry.
like, yeah, I feel very grateful.
Yeah.
I feel very confused. I feel very happy.
Why are you confused?
Stam.
We're easy confused in our world.
Yeah. I feel very lucky. I feel guilty for how happy I've been. Like, I've been so happy. I told you I do horrible with goodbyes.
But what are you saying goodbye to? Well, I know we're all leaving, but
Yeah.
but you're gonna go home and you got a life, big life out there.
Yeah.
You know. That's send you a present when you go home because that's appreciation. Because you're gonna have to give me your address though. You're such a sweetheart. Like I can't. Like honestly, if when people ask me about you, all I will tell them is like she is the sweetest, kindest, most genuine human being like you can come across. And
Don't make me more sad
it's
right
true.
now.
No, but it's true. Like but that is you.
Love you.
You're honestly one. I love you. You're one of my favorite people I've ever come across.
Genuinely,
Like
back at you.
literally, like.
And I never thought I would say that to a straight man.
Hey. You sure you're alright?
I've been better.
What's up? Tell me.
Give me 48 hours. Love you. Appreciate you. You're a special one.
Platonic right now, but JoJo, would you like it to be romantic?
Ben.
I mean, he's a gorgeous boy.
So are you, Ben.
He's a gorgeous boy. You're a gorgeous boy. You're a gorgeous girl. Look, he's a great guy. It is platonic. We have a lot of fun together. Life is life. And I don't know any future of anything. But I'm really grateful for our dynamic that we have and our bond that we have, and whatever life does, life will do.
Yeah, it's that age-old Harry met Sally thing, isn't it? That's what it is.
Then came the podcast. JoJo sat down with Nick Viall and spun the narrative like a fidget spinner. She said Kath made a misleading video, claimed Chris wasn't even a factor, acted like 13 minutes was just too long to watch someone's heartbreak, and all while pretending she was the real victim. Sis, if the relationship ended with your ex crying in economy, and you're doing promo with your platonic cuddler, you're not misunderstood, you're messy.
You said that you like learned a lot about yourself
Mhm.
throughout this process. What was the first thing that kind of like triggered a realization?
Oh man. Ooh, it's actually kind of hard to answer because I don't necessarily know the first, but I remember early on. I'll just share. I remember looking at my photo, and because everyone was looking at their photo, and Jack had his partner, Chris had his dog, Mickey had his dogs, Chesney had his family. Everyone had their photo, and I had mine as well. And it was a group photo with a load of people in it. But I remember looking at it and just thinking, I wasn't happy this day. And I remembered why I wasn't happy this day. And now I'm here looking at this photo, realizing there is not a single reason that I should not have been happy this day. I'm with my family in Disney World, and it's Christmas.
Wow.
And that kind of made me honestly not be able to. There's actually a shot. I've seen it online. I don't know if it's in the episode or was the live stream, but it's on the last or second to last day, and it's me staring at the photo, and you can just see in my eyes like something's wrong. But this realization started on the first day or the second day. Maybe the second day. And I just remember looking at that photo and being like, okay, what is this? What is this thought? And then that opened a cage of a few different areas of my life, to be completely fair and completely honest. Like it wasn't just one area of my life, but it just opened a can of worms that then for a few days really did me in. Whenever I was occupied or doing something, I was so fine, so happy, whether that was playing catch with Chris, dancing, in the hot tub, playing pirates, whatever it was. If we were doing something, I was great. I was invested. My feet were there and I was feeling happy. The second that I had a time to think, and I remember I would just go sit on the bike and I would just think, my brain just started to run with so many things that I have been okay with, I have tolerated that nobody should. And it put a lot of things into perspective for me. And then at the end, those things got validated very quickly. I don't know, it was hard. It was hard to have those realizations and not be able to talk them through with anybody. Because obviously I know that I'm in a very, very public place. And if I start talking about things, like that's going to be something that goes on then outside that's out of my control. And I don't want that. I don't want to do that to anybody. But I'm also realizing that I'm in here having these realizations and I like super had to internalize it. And I think it was actually the best thing for me because I had to formulate my own thoughts for the first time. I didn't have my friends, didn't have my family to help me formulate my thoughts. It was purely me. And it's such a weird concept. Because you formulate your thoughts without even knowing it with other people's opinions. Like, you put an outfit on in the morning, okay? And you go, and like, forgive me if this is wrong, but like, you're a girl, so I'm assuming this is going to be right. You put an outfit on in the morning, you go see Nick, right? You say, good morning, babe. If he gives you a little bit of a different look, are you ever like, it's my outfit or it's my hair? And
I'm like, you think I'm ugly?
Yeah. So you hate me.
Yeah.
So you think I'm ugly, you hate me.
You want a divorce.
You want a divorce. Like, we have split custody of the child. Like, you go there. And it's those little things that like, I had to live without, but then also those big things that I then had to live without. And it was hard. It was difficult, but I think it was the best thing that could have happened for me in there.
Looking at that photo, what did you come to like the conclusion of that? Like, why weren't you happy?
Look, I'll say this. I will say this. Out of respect for another human in the situation, they have asked to not speak about it, for me to not speak about them. And I told them, I said, look, that's going to make me seem like I am avoidant of the situation. I'm not avoidant of the situation. Obviously, a lot of people think that Chris has something to do with it. Chris does not have absolutely anything to do with it. Chris and I are friends. We have a very, very great friendship. It's a very strange, like, you are meant to be in my life. We have a very special bond. It's genuinely unlike any friendship bond I've ever created. But my situations are completely unrelated. And that kind of got misconstrued. And that's hard because, it's kind of feeding a false narrative.
Are we talking about Kath?
Yeah.
And I obviously want you to be able to respect them and their wishes, but I'm just a little confused because they have been very outspoken in public, which they have a right to do. They're in a public relationship.
Exactly.
But it's more like, to your point, there was a lot of people making a lot of assumptions and speculations about like your relationship with Chris.
Yes.
And we can get into your comments about like, I don't think I'm a lesbian anymore and things like that. But
oh, I knew coming on the Vial Files, I was going to get into it all. It's like, because I'm coming to the Vial Files, which is like hard pressing anyways, but then it's also with my best friend. So it's going to be even worse.
We also just like want the tea.
Yeah. We also just want to know what's going on. And also Nick's like older brother vibes, like JoJo.
But I mean, it's,
I'm happy to talk about
it's like, it's not, look, you can't go on a video and share your side of the story and speak your piece and then go, please don't
say
keep your
anything,
name out of my mouth.
Well, and look,
keep my name out of your mouth. It's like, okay.
Yeah. And that's kind of exactly what happened. So they said I broke up with them at the wrap party. That's not entirely the story. The story, goes, they had mentioned to production they did not want to come to the wrap party. And I said, all good. I'm going to go to the wrap party.
Were they invited?
Yeah, of course. But it's not their environment. And that's so fine. It's so fine. Like, whatever. But I'm going to go and I'm going to have a great time and I want to meet all the crew and it's a big deal and everybody's going. And so they also had gotten the families hotels and the cast hotels because you have to kind of come down, and I'm already having all these crazy thoughts that I've been having in the house and I need to formulate them. I need to talk to my mom. I need to be alone. I need to look at my phone. I need to see what's going on. I need to realize, what am I feeling? What are these thoughts? I'm not in a place to talk. So I'm in a place to have a fun, cute opening conversation, but I'm not in a place to actually talk yet. And so I was honest about that. And I mentioned to them, I said, look, I know you don't want to come to the after party, but I'm going to go. And then I'm going to go to my hotel. It's going to be 3 a.m. I'm going to go on my phone. So why don't you go to yours and then I'll go to mine and let's reconvene tomorrow morning. And that upset them, rightfully so. They wanted to be with me, but I knew I wasn't in a place for that. They didn't want to go to the wrap party, but they wanted to come to the hotel. But I was like, I'm just not. So anyways, 27.
Okay.
So we separated and they started driving to the hotel. I go to the wrap party. And then about an hour into the wrap party, one of the welfare team said, hey, at the time, my partner said, I want to come now. I've changed my mind. Like, what's the mood? So I took his phone. I filmed a video of the party. I said, this is not really your scene, but if you would love to come, like, come. And then something else happened. I got told something else that they didn't want. And it kind of made me feel like, okay, this is very strange. Like, I really don't like this vibe right now.
It felt like a setup maybe a little bit?
Yeah. And so when they got to the party, they had these little, like, they were kind of like bananas for us. They were like little huts. And so we started to have a conversation. And I was like, just come in here for 10 minutes. Let's just have a chat before we go over there. And that conversation started immediate. And I was going to lead the talking, but then they kind of led the talking. And all I'm saying to every question they ask is, I don't know. 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 Are you this? I don't know. Are you that? I don't know.
So it's like
is it
one
this?
of those,
I don't know.
It's one of those classic conversations.
Are you happy in our relationship?
Yeah. But it's just like, hey, I don't want to have this conversation right now. And then like, but I want to ask you some questions.
Yeah.
And then they start having the conversation no one wants to have in this moment.
And I was honest about that.
And all of a sudden you're having it.
And then all of a sudden we're having it. And all of a sudden, we're at the wrap party for Big Brother. I'm getting cussed out. It was the security guard kept turning around to me being like, and I was like, you know what I mean? Like, because I understand where they're angry and where they're coming at me. But I also keep reiterating, like, I'm not in a place to talk. I was just with 13 people, down to 6, locked away for 20 days. I haven't spoken to anybody. I'm now in a room with 200 people. We're in this hut. It's outside. I haven't slept in 24 hours. I don't know what's going on.
Overstimulated. I need to be alone.
Like, and now I'm just like, it's just a whirlwind. Anyways, by the 16th time somebody asks you, are you happy? Do you want to end things? You're gonna just spew your guts. And I was honest and I said, if you ask me tomorrow, I don't know my answer. If you ask me right now, my answer is yes. And then that obviously was taken as yes. And it was a yes and whatever. But then they didn't want to be alone. So I was like, all right, look, come to the hotel. We can continue talking.
And I mean, listen, obviously I get why anyone is sad to have a relationship and they don't want to end. But what was their biggest, I mean, I guess, you go on Big Brother.
Yeah.
I don't know what their expectations of Big Brother were or what they saw, but like, you are very much in the public eye. Big Brother
is even more in the public eye.
I mean,
maybe it's the most public eye. It's literally the eye is the most public eye.
Sure, but like you have certainly done a lot of things every day to be in the public eye. But obviously, I didn't get to call you when you were there. Like you're isolated. It's very difficult. Like, I get asked to do things all the time where it's like, hey, but you need to be away from your family. And I'm like, can't. Sorry. Not the time right now.
Baby now. He'd leave you for 8 days, but not that baby.
Yeah, exactly.
So I get what were the challenges of anyone dating someone who's going
Of
away.
course.
But like we've talked about this. When
Yeah.
I met Natalie,
Yeah.
you know, she was also younger, you
Yeah.
know, and a lot of it was like, are we at the same stages of life? Like,
Yeah.
do we want the same things?
Yeah.
Like, is being together taking anything away from the things
What
that
we
she
already have.
currently wants to do, or
Yes.
her dreams, or her,
Yes.
you know, and things like that?
Yeah.
These are conversations we had to have. These are things
Yes.
I had to consider being in a position where I was older
Yeah.
than her at the you know, I'm always older than her, but I was older than her. And you know what I'm saying? And
Of
so
course.
what was their expectation about like what this experience would be for you? And
You mean
like
prior to going in?
prior to going
Yeah.
in, and I get, well, you know, they probably watched it the whole time, but like, you know, a lot of the
Yeah.
speculation around you and Chris was this, like, again, just people, like, at no time am I watching you and Chris and wondering
Like,
if you're seriously
yeah,
having a
yeah.
thing with this guy,
Yeah.
or if you know, like, I
Yeah.
know who you are,
Yeah.
you know,
And
you know, it was all like the internet's having a buzz, and
the internet's having a heyday.
Yeah.
It's our bond is beautiful, but our bond is what you saw. You know what I mean? There's not anything that we did that you did not see. You know, you saw the
Yeah.
extent of it. And so I think people are always going to do what people do.
Sure.
And I think people are always going to believe what they want to believe. People are always going to run with what they want to run with. And I think that's somewhere that I've always just kind of been okay with. You know what I mean?
Why do you think they came in with such a feeling of disconnect?
I don't know. I really don't know. And it's not my place to speak on behalf of them. I know from me, there should have been no like questioning, especially around the boundaries of our relationship.
So were you presented with doubts about your actions in the house with Chris?
While I was in the house?
Yeah.
No.
Okay.
No, because I straight up said, what are your boundaries? And I had a few boundaries for them while we were in the house, and they actually did proceed to break those boundaries. I will say that. And that's something that it wasn't big enough for me to care about, but it was something that I had specifically asked, like, hey, look, for the 20 days, just can it with a few conversations. And those conversations actually picked up more. They had in-person ones as well. And like that for me was like, okay, look, I'm ending things anyways. It's just another reason, you know
Sure,
what I mean?
sure.
It was another piece of pie on the plate. But at that point, it didn't really matter. No, I definitely never overthought anything with Chris. Yeah,
But like,
regarding
why did Kath show up and start pressing you for these answers following this like
yeah,
experience
I
that like you would think they would have a little bit more empathy for, like, you're
Yeah.
literally coming out of this mind fuck,
yeah.
and you were asking for like a little bit of time.
I'll say this, it's really hard to speak on because we had a mutual agreement. Like, look, let's just cool it for a second. Like, we broke up for these reasons, and you know that. You know, Kath posted a video basically alluding to Chris and I are the reasons that we broke up. That's not the case. That is not the truth. And they know that, and I know that. So they were going to, you know, post their video again, but because they wanted to share their story, but say like, hey, I did give some misleading information. Like JoJo and I have talked a bit more. Here's the truth, because I don't expect them to air out all the reasons why I did end things between us, because if they did, you know, it would be a little crazy. But all good if they wanted to. But I don't think that's the right thing to do either. But following up that and them saying they were going to make that statement, I also was going on a morning show the next day with Chris, and we were going to shut the JoJo and Chris rumors down, and we were going to say we're friends. And I also was sure to say, like, look, life is life. You never know where life's going to take you. But I can tell you today, right now, Chris and I are friends. We have a great special bond, but we are friends. But in regards to my ex now, the conversation that I had with them was they were going to do their video, give a little more context, and then they asked me to not speak about them. And the only reason why I'm okay to briefly speak about them is because they reposted their video and gave no context, and then continued to let their friend, who actually, while I was in the house, did something pretty bad to them. Their friend has been going off on social media, trying to, you know, spread the same misinformation, and it's gotten deeper. And so that's the only reason why I'm okay to speak on my behalf, out of protection for myself and out of protection for Chris. But I also don't want to speak about them because that was their request, was to kind of leave them out of it.
Again, which I respect, but it's like,
but it's hard because
you don't get to do that, and then
you don't get to have it both
Yeah.
ways.
Yeah.
Like, you don't get asked.
Here's where it gets petty. Kath flew across the world to support JoJo in the Big Brother finale, a literal act of love. And when things crashed and burned, JoJo downgraded her to economy. That wasn't about money, that was about power. JoJo even said, You don't get to ask me for business class after that. After what? Being dumped at an after party? JoJo's not just breaking hearts, she's breaking basic decency.
For a business class flight home and then do that. You know what I mean? Like, it's like,
Or just
when I already got you a plane ticket home. You know what I mean? Like, it's, I don't know. There's just a lot of
business class. Nick doesn't even put me in business class. And
Yeah.
you're putting your ex in business class?
No, I did not. I was straight up. I was like, look, you posted the video again. You didn't give any context. Like, I don't feel comfortable asking my team to do that right now. Like, it's a mess. And we had a long talk about it not being a mess anymore. And it's a mess. And I think that there's just so much misinformation out there that would not be the right thing to do right now. Like,
were you just as shocked as like the rest of us to see their video?
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely was. I was on the phone with my mom and I saw it on Instagram first and it was, a cutoff. So I was like, oh, the full version must be on TikTok. And then I saw the full 13-minute version and I was like, oh, I'll be genuine. I did not watch
13
it.
minutes is
13 minutes is
forever.
I did not watch it. I did not watch it.
That's a movie.
It's a
That's-
movie. It's honestly, I have gotten from an ex a 47-minute audio message before. That takes the cake.
Yeah.
Because that was actually, it was a typed out message that you could hear them flipping the page, reading it off to me. So the 47 script, that was actually a TV show.
wild.
I'm
But
ready to
yeah.
say a book about a relationship, but please don't talk about it.
No, literally. But yeah, I was definitely just as shocked. But I understand wanting to share your truth. And that is the exact thing that I told my ex. I said, look, if you would like to share what happened, if you would like to share how it happened, that's totally fine. It's your story. It's your life. Please do not lead to the false narrative that's already out there
Mhm.
that we are now going to say, hey, look, guys, like, yes, we're very close. We have a beautiful bond. We're meant to be in each other's lives. But like, can it with these for a second? Like,
Well, because it's like, well, one, it's not true or accurate. And it's just like,
yeah, it's just,
again, like it's also just kind of going against your whole identity.
Well,
And
there's
then
just-
it's painting a narrative.
there's so many reasons why my breakup happened.
Yeah.
Christopher is not one of them. And I mean, look, and I actually told this to Kath, I was like, maybe it would be easier if he was. But
Sure.
you know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like, he is not one of them. So if you're gonna share the story, share the story.
Well, that's kind of my point. It's just like that it's not an accident. And there's an
Yes.
implication
Yes.
the way they led with it
Yeah.
to suggest it again, like this thing that's
Yeah.
not real.
Yes.
I mean, your friendship is real.
Yeah, very.
But the romantic side of the speculation was just like, again, goes not only like not true, it goes against your identity, but it also like it paints this picture of like infidelity, kind of like, that speculation of
It
like, again, paints you as a villain,
Yeah.
paints you as like this, and leaning into
Yep.
like an international narrative.
Exactly.
And it's like,
That's where it's like, I understand. Chris and I are very tight. We have this very beautiful bond, this very beautiful connection, but don't paint it out to look like I cheated on you with him because I did not. And that is, I will nail my feet into the ground and I will stand on that ground. I did not, I would not, and I have not.
This isn't a one-time thing. JoJo has a pattern. She plays the victim when called out, blames her team for personal decisions, turns genuine relationships into promo tours. Even her exes are catching on. Kath hinted at a second video explaining everything. But after JoJo went on a morning show with Chris and dropped flirty little life is life hints, yeah, that second video never saw the light of day. Because Kath realized what we're all starting to see, JoJo doesn't want closure, she wants control. So let's circle back. Remember how we started? With you wondering what happens when you do everything right and still get painted as the villain? That's Kath. That could be any of us. Because emotional manipulation isn't always loud. Sometimes it's a downgrade on a return flight. Sometimes it's a half-watched video. Sometimes it's, we're just friends, right before the kiss. But now that you've seen the pattern, don't fall for the glitter. JoJo Siwa may dance around the truth, but the receipts don't lie. This wasn't just a breakup, it was a broadcast. And girl, the next time someone tries to gaslight you from business class to baggage claim, don't unpack, just leave.